Wow, you've been gone that long? Okay.
I didn't know. I was said, hey, Spielman, do you want to talk about Scott Pilgrim? I said, yes. I didn't even know this was a podcast. I just thought we were going to talk about Scott Pilgrim. So I was sabotaged.
You think we're not going to turn this into content?
Right.
Come on, bro.
Welcome to Two Whatever's Way Up. I'm some guy that they grabbed off the street. They said, hey, do you like Scott Pilgrim? I said, yeah, that's me. I'm that guy. With us today is everyone's favorite person, Fresco.
I'm here. Yay.
The crowd pleaser. Absolutely.
Yes.
Seth is here. He doesn't need an introduction. That's what happens when you're that awesome. You just say Seth is here.
I have to be on every Scott Pilgrim episode that I can until I finally get a Scott Pilgrim tattoo. I don't have one yet.
That's
and I need
the goal.
One. Yeah.
And that's it. Nowhere else is here. There's no fourth force. You didn't hear that?
Oh.
Nope.
It's just a myth.
Damn.
Wow.
It's
Wow.
invisible.
Are you
Gonna
asking?
punch you
Are
into death.
Oh, she came in. She came. She's here. You know how she got here? She came through the subspace highway in my brain. That's how she got here. Yeah,
Nice.
I forgot that was there. Sorry about that. But
You're asking to get kicked in the balls, dude.
I will fly
It's
back
a kink.
there.
Let's both be girls. Ah!
it's supposed to be gross. Yeah. Yeah. That's how I'm gonna end it. No more perfect.
Such a great intro.
We're here to talk about Scott Pilgrim. I'm so excited. I can't wait. I'm chomping at the bit.
Yes.
I retweeted a tweet just before this recording where it was the Dr. Manhattan meme, and it is 2004 and I'm seeing bad takes about Scott Pilgrim. It is 2010 and I'm seeing bad takes about Scott Pilgrim. It is 2023 and I'm seeing bad takes about Scott Pilgrim.
Yeah.
So great to be here. We're here on the heels of the new anime show on Netflix. But let's talk about the movie first.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Or is it worth touching on the comic before we open? I've even seen people on Twitter shocked to find out that there's a comic behind the movie. And
Yeah.
that the movie
Seriously?
wasn't like the origin of this universe.
Do you think a studio would be this creative without some kind of source material?
Right. Oh my god.
Yeah.
This is pre A24, so no.
Damn, Edgar Wright A24 combo. I'd go see that.
I mean, look at Everything Everywhere All at Once. It feels like an Edgar Wright movie sometimes.
Yeah, for sure.
So, yeah.
For sure. Well, I read through the comic. Did anybody else here read through the comic?
Read the whole thing
Yes.
in one day.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's also
I
sitting
just
behind me.
I did like a
on my
little
shelf.
bit of the comic. I never finished it through. Just one of those things. I started the first and then just yeah.
Yeah. And I saw it movie form first too. I also found out there was a comic after seeing the movie.
Mhm.
So it
Oh,
was,
no,
it was a reach back.
I
and
knew
grab
there
for
was a
me.
comic
Yeah.
before the movie. I just didn't read it. I saw the movie in theaters, loved it. I went back. I like borrowed the first volume from somebody, and then like I never got around to buying the rest for myself. So
Yeah. Mike, it was at the Walden Books that used to be at the Valley Mall. That's where I
Oh
picked
my
up my
gosh,
copies.
that makes
Wow.
me feel. That made
You're
me feel
throwing it
so
back.
old. You just said that.
Right.
I don't know if
Damn,
everyone like. God, I'm so old.
people are like, "What's a Walden Books?"
Everyone went, "What is that?" Like, kids, that
Back
was
in my
before
day.
Barnes
Back
and Noble.
before
and-
celebrities read your books to you.
Oh yeah.
Wow, a triple drink. We just caught that in perfect tandem.
Perfect.
No, we didn't.
I was
like
like,
looking at my
dude,
audio.
mid-drink. I was mid-drink. I was like, Seth, you motherfucker, outlier.
Dude, well, like somebody had to keep talking. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
we can't have dead air while we all gulp. You know?
Well, I think mine's
Gulp.
the only one that's non-alcoholic, I think. So, yeah.
No, mine's
Oh,
water.
mine's not. No,
I don't.
I'm just high.
It's 3 p.m. I haven't started drinking yet, like an adult.
Not in Russia.
Mm.
But yeah, the with regards to the comic, it kind of is its own thing until the last volume, because the last volume hadn't come out by the time the film was released or the film was being made. So they kind of merge at that point, and they said, well, let's just use that ending they use in the movie. And so it kind of becomes the movie in the last volume.
Right.
Okay.
Which is a good decision. I mean, I think the movie ends in the appropriate place.
A little trivia for you. Fun fact: the ending to the Scott Pilgrim video game was the original intended ending that Brian Lee O'Malley wanted to use, which is after you defeat Gideon, he wanted Gideon to summon a giant mech that you fight.
Yeah.
That was
because that's the correct way to end anything. Kaiju ending,
a ridiculous
game
robot
over.
fight. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think one of the proposed endings was that he ends up, he beats Gideon, and then he doesn't get together with Ramona. He ends up with nobody.
He goes with knives. Yes.
Yeah, he goes.
That
with
is
one.
that
with
is
the-
an alternate thing.
Yeah, one ending he gets together with knives, which is we'll get into it. And then the other ending he ends up with Ramona, which is one they use in the film. And then the other ending, which they didn't shoot, was he ends up with nobody. Like he learns a lesson by the end of the film and goes off and becomes
he kind
Kane
of
in
leaves
Kung Fu.
With,
He kind of wanders.
With Nega Scott. He leaves with Nega Scott, and he's like,
Yeah.
I'm just gonna,
and I think that's my favorite too, because of the representation of like you don't become a man until you've tamed your ego and like are able to connect into the world that's out around you and recognize your place in it.
Yeah.
And he doesn't need women to like achieve that within himself. I think that's the most apt ending for the character. Otherwise, I feel like if he gets the girl, he's a douchebag. Like he's just it ends with him still a douchebag kind of.
Well,
he's still an asshole.
I mean, that's the point. Well, he does become a better person by the end of the film.
Yeah.
The point
him
of the
and
story
Ramona
is-
are both not good people. That's the whole point of it. She
Yeah.
runs away from things that she thinks she's developing feelings for, and he runs away when things get even the littlest bit challenging. This was the first time really in his life that he actually fought for something ever. And so they're both not good people, and that's what it's supposed to tell you. That's why Nega Scott is a good person, because Scott's an asshole.
Right. He's actually kind of a great guy.
Did the switcheroo on
gonna have
that.
He
brunch
is a
next
great guy.
Scotty, you're the power of self-respect.
God, I love that voice so much.
Bill
Scotty,
Hader. It's
power of
Bill
self-
Hader.
I know, I love
that was
it.
the one voice they didn't get back for the anime was the
Yeah.
narrator. I was like, damn, it's not Bill
Oh.
Hader.
They got
Yeah.
the guy from
Bill Hader's-
TikTok. I think that's who that was.
Bill Hader's been like stepping back from everything. He's not in Bob's Burgers anymore. He's not doing South Park anymore. He's been so wrapped
Oh,
up
wow.
with Barry that he just literally stepped back from everything else. So that's why.
Yeah. Is that show wrapped up now? It's
done.
they did-
Yeah, dude. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay. I have.
Oh, yeah. I'm
Okay.
not quite sure how to continue.
I actually have never seen Barry. So I
It's
mean,
done.
you
should watch
going,
Barry.
I'm going through The Bear right now, which is the most binge-worthy show on the planet right
Dude.
now. So I'll jump into Barry after that.
Dude, yeah, Barry next. It's done. And
do your bees.
oh, boy, what a fucking great show.
Looking forward
Sorry,
to
guys.
it.
The Scott Pilgrim got sidelined by
Wait.
Bill Hader being
Yeah.
a tiny little cameo in the movie.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say Bill Hader's just the man, so fuck it.
Truly.
There's tiny
Yeah.
little cameos all throughout the TV show.
I was gonna say
Oh yeah, everywhere.
a Bill Hader Michael Cera crossover. He was my favorite thing in Superbad. Bill Hader.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
that's right. That's
He
right.
was my favorite
That's
part
right.
of that movie. I was like, fuck everybody else. I want Bill Hader. I want more of this shit.
It's
Yeah.
Oh, dude.
Superbad's such a great movie.
Why did he and Seth Rogen never do a spin-off for those cops? That's like the
That's
only
what I
cop
wanna
shit I would want to
know.
watch.
Well, I
I
love
think it's because
Brooklyn
they both
Nine-Nine,
exploded
but
in different directions because
Yeah.
of Superbad.
They got really big right after that film. And
Yeah.
that's kind of the thing about Scott Pilgrim, this film, is that a lot of these people in this film are like actors on the ascent. Like this is
Yeah.
like the perfect movie at the perfect time for them.
Mhm.
Like everybody's just almost there,
they
and then their
literally
careers took
all
off
blew
even though the
up.
movie failed.
Well, I would say
Yeah.
I think Sarah was the biggest name at the time for that movie.
Yeah.
I mean, he was
Because of Arrested
he had
Development. Yeah.
Arrested Development.
Oh, yeah.
And anyone who does it, anyone who's ever said, "Well, Michael Cera can't act," you need to watch Scott Pilgrim. It's the one time where you can tell that that dude's got a little bit of range, and he can be super funny. It's just like the TV show. When he's in that TV show, man, does he stealing scenes with the way he's approaching his voice work?
Oh,
it's hilarious.
I don't know.
He's
I've
great for
always
anime.
been a sucker
His
for
voice
Kieran
is so good
Culkin,
for
though.
anime.
Oh,
Dude,
I love
right?
Kieran.
Oh yeah. You know me, Wallace. God.
How did you learn that?
I will say with regards to that, I finished watching the TV show, and overall, I think that it fixes a lot of the problems of the movie. And the biggest problem is that Scott Pilgrim is a 23-year-old dating a 17-year-old. Not okay. Don't do that, please.
That's a church relationship.
Fixes.
Yeah, but that's the thing
Fixes.
is that everyone what.
Doesn't fix anything. It's a sequel. No, there's
No.
nothing to fix. It's
what
making
ifs.
fun of itself.
It's a what if storyline. It's a
No,
what
it's
if.
a sequel. You missed it, didn't you? It's a sequel. Scott had his moment, and now, sorry, Seth, future Scott is the one who did all this. So this is technically a sequel. Yes, Seth. It's a future version of Scott who kidnapped him. Sorry, Seth.
Because he gave him the script
So it's actually a sequel.
for what happened in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
It becomes self-reflexive. Yeah.
Yep.
They address right away, like, it's probably not a good idea for me as a 23-year-old to be dating a 17-year-old. Society looks down upon that. They literally say it in the show. It's like, they address, like, yeah, we fucked up.
Well,
It's like,
I mean, it's not really a fuck up. It's supposed to show you just how low he was at the time.
Yeah.
Like, the dude was so low that he went to a 17-year-old high schooler to try to fix his problems. One, if you even listen to the way he talks, they've barely held hands. They've never kissed. And so, like, there was really, and if you really watch, or if you read it, it was more of, he was kind of just like her gossip person outside of school for a lot of it.
Yeah. They don't really do anything.
Nothing really happens. Like, she kisses him. If you remember when they get to the rocket, she kisses him. So a lot of the stuff with him, he didn't really do anything.
No, but he
but it
used
shows
her.
just how low he got. He
fucking
did, but
used
he's a
the
user.
shit
That's
out
what
of
he
her.
does.
Like,
That's what he is. He's a user.
No, he is. Like, in the movie, that's what I hated the most in the movie. Like, when they were at the arcade and it was like, game over. Would you like to play again?
Yeah.
And he's just looking like, so you
pay.
gonna-
You pay.
Yeah, they did
Okay.
kind of change that from the comic, because in the comic, like, when they're going out to get food, they don't say that she pays. When they go to the Goodwill, the conversation isn't just her talking to him and he's like, oh wow. He's actually, like, super engaged in her conversation.
Yeah.
And like, he treats her way better in the comic than they kind of let on in the movie. Like,
yeah.
and I think
No,
it's
he was
because
a
they were
dick in
trying
the
to really
movie.
show he is fully a dick in the movie, and they allow his dickishness to show over time in the comic. But again, you have time to let that play out.
Right.
Yeah.
Comic versus a 2-hour movie.
They condense
also,
his arc down to a 2-hour film.
biggest thing to talk about with that movie is it's one of the last times CGI was used for good.
Yeah,
Marvel.
you're not wrong. Yeah.
Think of all of the subtle little things that they did with CGI and green screen in that movie, like the bus scene with Ramona and him. If you pay attention to the background, there's hearts
the
on
X's
his
and
side,
the
there's
hearts.
X's on
Yeah.
hers, and then as the conversation changes, hers
Turns to
turn into
hearts.
hearts. And I'm like, or Knives, when she's listening to them for the first time, in her eyes, there's little hearts. I'm like,
Yeah.
dude, just like the impressive use of CGI that we have never seen again.
Well, and he was treating the film like it was an animated film with
Yes.
real people in it. Like
Yeah.
every
So good.
frame was treated as if it was like an animation of the comics. And that dude, like that visual style, I walked out of the theater after the end of that movie, bought a ticket, and walked right back in
Yeah.
and saw it again. Like
Yeah.
I
saw it
don't
twice
do
in
that
a
with
weekend.
movies.
Yep.
Ever, but that was one where and it was a late showing too.
Yeah.
We got there for like the 9 p.m. showing, and I was like, "Damn it, I'm gonna go see the midnight. I'm gonna stay up till fucking 2:00 in the morning watching
Oh yeah,
Scott Pilgrim a second time."
So
that's one of the few films I saw like so many times in
Yeah.
theaters. Normally, I'm I would love to see a movie more than once in the theaters, but like I'm a cheapskate. But like with Scott Pilgrim, that was one of the ones where I was like, fuck it, I'm going again.
Yeah.
Preach it. That
Mike,
movie,
that was Ryan DeVore took me to see that.
Oh my god.
No,
I took that
Little Best
was-
Buy callback for you, buddy.
Jesus. That movie came out around my birthday in 2010, and I went to see it with my wife, and I got out of that movie and I looked at her, and I usually, a lot of movies I'm one and done with. I'm like, all right, yep, gotcha, bye. I looked at her and I went, I think I gotta see that again, like immediately. And I think within like 3 days I'd seen it again in theaters.
Yeah.
And I had to buy. Did you guys know that Blu-rays can degrade if you watch them enough?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a little sad.
I found out. I am not the person who watches behind the scenes bullshit. I don't turn on extra audio commentary. I don't do any of that crap because I don't necessarily care. I have watched every single piece of extra content. I've watched it with the audio commentary. By the way, if you have the Blu-ray of Scott Pilgrim vs. the World and you haven't watched any of the audio commentary, I highly recommend watching the one with the actors, because about maybe like a quarter of the way in, Brandon Routh shows up and that thing changes very, very much, and it's just as hilarious to listen to. And it turns into what you would feel like a podcast with those four would be like. It is fantastic. I think they make like 12 total comments of the actual movie. Most of the time they're just bullshitting, and it's hilarious. But yeah, that movie, every extra scene, the audio commentary, listening to Edgar talk about his process and the way he approached scenes, to not understand how much love and passion went into this movie is impossible. Like, it's in every single frame of this movie and you don't see this kind of love. I think the next closest love, I would say, is what Kenneth Branagh is doing with those Agatha Christie movies. He clearly loves Agatha Christie.
Oh,
Yeah.
And it shows in everything that he approached it. He has made 3 of those things, and I have loved all 3 of those things. And it's the same kind of passion. And I loved seeing that in Scott Pilgrim. And it just made me, I think Scott Pilgrim was kind of like that, man, I would love to do this. I think that, like, to me, Scott Pilgrim awoke me a little bit more than any other movie ever has, to be like, dude, I would love to be in something like this. Like, this movie is fucking cool.
Yeah.
While on the subject of woke, I'd like to point out that there's a bunch of people that really hate this movie because they say, oh, there's Scott's such an unlikable character the entire time. It's like, that's the point. He's an asshole.
Are we subtweeting Ulrich right now? Are we just like talking shit on Ulrich?
You know what's funny? They actually made the movie less woke, because in the comic, for those who haven't read it, Stephen Stills, when he broke up with Julie, he actually turns out to be bisexual.
Yeah. Oh,
and
yeah. That's right.
He starts a relationship with a man during the Battle of the Bands stuff.
That's right.
And he kind of realizes who he is really as a person. So that's the cool part of the comic, is you're actually seeing 2 people going through a breakup very differently. You know, Scott's fighting everything. He thinks that the next person is the next thing. And Steven's just kind of trying to focus on himself, focus on the things that he loves. And in the end, Steven ends up more full and happier because of the way he approached it. So it's really giving you commentary on, like, hey, if you go through a really bad breakup or just a really bad time, focus on yourself a little bit. Like, figure who you are out, and promise you good things will come. And that's kind of one of the, like, subtle takes from that comic is, if you work on yourself, if you focus more on you after something like this, and you fix you and you figure out who you are, in the end, the next time that there's a chance of love and a relationship, it's going to be better for you. And it's such a great subtle commentary that it's one of the things I wished I would get in either the movie or the TV show, which they kind of gave it in the TV show with Wallace a little bit when they changed his character. And I did that scene at the end.
Sparks are real.
That scene at the end. Sparks are real. So great. I love that.
Yeah.
But I really loved Steven's journey. That two sides of the same coin. We both went through bad breakups, but one focused on themselves and one buried themselves in other people. And the outcomes were very different. One still, I mean, if the TV show is anything to prove, one still is a fucking child at heart, to the point that when he finally had one adversity 13 years into marriage, they split. He never talked to her again. And then he started planning going back in time to stop young Scott from getting with Ramona. Like, it shows the immaturity.
He trains like fucking One Punch Man.
Spoiler alert for the show, guys.
Yeah, fuck you guys if you haven't watched the show by the time this thing comes out.
He trains like fucking One Punch Man and gets like super jacked.
He trains for 10 years. And he also is vegan.
Oh yeah, he goes vegan. He gets vegan powers.
Yeah, because he wants
goes
to
full
have
Goku.
all
Seth, you
the
gotta finish
exact
this show.
powers and counter powers of all the X's, so he can be like Mega X.
Yeah.
Yeah, Seth, you have to finish the show. It's fucking crazy.
I can't wait. This sounds amazing.
So
like I was so ready for something left field. I wasn't prepared for how left field they were gonna go.
Yeah.
Even just so I'm only 2 episodes in, but Patel's character change is fantastic.
180.
That's great.
That fight scene with Gideon is like straight fire. Like that is like
Yeah.
absolutely
Great.
fire.
Yeah.
180.
I mean, they
Gideon's 180.
So
Wait
bold.
for that shit.
Oh,
Oh my god.
Every character gets flipped in the best possible way.
Oh, I'm
it's
so
gonna
excited.
fuck with you.
Whatever.
That Scott Pilgrim Takes Off might be the single most disloyal thing to a subject matter, yet still loyal to a subject matter, bold and risky thing that is so fucking good.
Yeah.
That is
Like,
so punk
It's
rock, and that
gotten
like punk rock is the
100%
setting.
On Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
100%.
To do what they did and be at 100%. Are you kidding me? Except for Collider. Fuck you, Collider. First off, fuck you. I saw your bad score. Fuck off.
I
No
would
one
say
likes
my
you.
one negative of the show that bothers me. I love the fact they got all the actors back for their roles from the film.
Except
I love
Bill
that.
Hader.
That's great. Except for Bill Hader, which is unfortunate. I would argue that maybe, being an actor on a screen is different from being a voice actor, because there's a lot of moments where I'm like, okay, another take. Try again. Because the way their animation is on screen, there are moments when Ramona is like screaming at people, and it's just Mary Elizabeth Winstead going, "So what's going on here? Is this really a complicated? Like, it's speak up."
Well,
I hate it. That's my one negative.
problem.
Is like, yeah,
with big name actors.
I know.
You want to go?
They're not
you wanna
voice
see,
actors.
You wanna,
they are not
you wanna
voice
see
actors.
how fucking
There's a lot
bad
of them. Yeah,
big name voice actors are? Go watch The Wind Rises in fucking English. It'll make you want to pull your fucking head out, because it's just John Krasinski and Joseph Gordon-Levitt talking at each other.
Oh yeah.
Even in scenes where they're supposed to be fucking screaming.
Yeah, I said
Wait,
that Mary
what
Elizabeth
movie?
Winstead, Michael Cera, and Alison Pill are the worst offenders.
No, Michael Cera was great. I think especially there's a lot of times where Sarah really fucking brought that voice out. Alison Pill, I didn't even realize she was in the goddamn thing. She's
very
fucking
flat. She's very flat.
horrible. My Whitman had a fucking great time, but my Whitman's the only one in this cast. Well, Jason Schwartzman too, who has done a lot of voice work. So
Well,
my
she-
Whitman,
Yeah,
She-
not
Jason
surprising.
Schwartzman was like really at home
Well,
here.
Jason Schwartzman was great, but May, she is the lead voice actor for Avatar: The Last Airbender. So
Yep.
she's
Yeah.
been doing this for
She's
fucking
incredible.
ever. So she knows how to do
Right.
her range, how
She
to
was-
do it, and like
She was infinitely horny and infinitely incredible.
So what about you? Not you? What about your boss? How's the boss?
Oh, wait, what about you?
Yeah.
So fucking good.
I also
You're
appreciate
straight?
the fact
It's
that
fine.
the
I'll
animation.
fuck you.
Ah, fuck you.
I appreciate the fact that the animation does keep the fact that Mary Elizabeth Winstead does have a dump truck ass, and they kept that in the show. Thank you.
I love that they kept showing her change her hair.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
every episode
Yeah.
opens up with her changing her hair.
Love
Yeah,
that.
yeah, it's cute.
I love
That's
that.
cute. Yeah.
Like, I think I explained it this way. Like, while the story that they are telling is different, the storytelling is the same.
Oh yeah.
So, and that is to understand something to the level that you can just be like, you know what, we're going to actually go fucking left field, but we're going to keep the storytelling pretty close. That's fucking bold. Like, and both of them did it. Like, you could just feel that passion still there. Like, you could tell that Edgar was absolutely involved, and you could just feel like, dude, we already told Scott Pilgrim versus the World.
Yeah, try something
Let's do something different. Let's set this thing up like we think it's gonna be the same. And then we're gonna take the fucking wind out of your sail. Like, at my first knee-jerk reaction to that was, what the fuck was this? And so I was a little angry. Like, if you go to my Twitter while I'm watching, I go, what the fuck is this? And then after like episode 4, which I believe is the Lucas Lee focused episode, I went, wait a minute. I'm back in.
Yeah.
What we're doing here is different, but you're still nailing the storytelling, and I'm back in. Because these were all people that we all only saw as generic villains, 1 through 7. Outside of Gideon, we saw what Gideon was.
Right.
But then they just went. The name of the show is very appropriate. Scott Pilgrim Takes Off. That thing took off.
Yeah.
And it did fucking incredible.
It's like the very upbeat, cartoony version of something Mike Flanagan would do.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's a great comparison. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm getting
every
an idea
episode
for
is-
what I'm in for.
Every episode is dedicated to a different villain.
Yes.
That's fucking great.
Yeah.
That's
really
That's
good.
honestly what a perfect because then you don't really have to fuck with like the main narrative you set up in the comic
Nope.
or the movie.
Yep.
You're just fleshing out the outside of it at that point. Dude, transmedia narrative has so much potential.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like stuff like this is where I think it really functions the best. Where like it's kind of elastic in that it can switch from live action, but still cartoony and live action to this. An actual cartoon where you can kind of play out some of the stuff you wouldn't take the time to in live action.
Right.
Yeah.
I think Scott Pilgrim awoke that when a lot of people want to argue that Space Jam really did something for it. And, of course, Who Framed Roger Rabbit did a fuck ton for that medium.
Yeah.
But Scott Pilgrim versus the World made you go, oh, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like, to utilize that effort, like, to me, Scott Pilgrim vs. the World and Who Framed Roger Rabbit both should be cornerstones of transmedia narrative. The way that
100%.
both of them execute their premise and their plot and their approach is, I just don't ever see it being done like that again for some time. Like, those two just understood what that
Well,
meant.
it was like 30
and-
years in between just those two. So
Mhm. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Makes
For the
me go
longest
watch Who
time-
Framed Roger Rabbit again.
For the longest time, Scott Pilgrim was considered the best live action video game. It's since been topped by Last of Us, obviously. But yeah, this was it like if you want to see like live action like video game stuff, this was it for the longest time.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe this and the Crank movies. They're the same kind of frenetic style.
Yeah.
No, everyone loves Gerard Butler's Gamer.
Oh god.
Dude, I kind of dig that movie. I don't know. I revisited it and it is hard to watch, but it there's something about it that's just so
Seth, you just
Charmingly
killed 2
awful.
people on screen right now.
When he pissed in the gas tank to fuel up the truck.
that awesome. Dude, that's cinema. That is cinema. Are you kidding me? Oh my
Shut the
god.
fuck up, Seth. Shut the fuck up.
I love that movie.
Man, yeah, so this is a great reminder that if you're listening to this on a podcast, there is a YouTube version where you can see these men dying as
Yeah.
I try to straight face.
Yeah.
I
Okay,
just
going
need
back
my
to the
pills
movie.
to get rid of this headache that I just suffered through.
I'm not even high or drunk yet.
Yeah, going back to the movie, what's everybody's favorite joke? Like, just in general, like pick anything. What's the one thing that always makes you laugh?
Oh, it has to be when Knives is like, "Where's Scott?" And then he's like,
He jumps to the window.
Yeah,
and he's
just
left. And then Wallace is obviously, because he's like, "Wallace, hide me," and Wallace is obviously panning to see him the whole time. He's like, "Fuck this guy. Here's where he is."
He's totally trying to get him caught
Every time, every fucking time gets me. I'm dead.
God. That's a very Edgar Wright thing, is that he loves like whip pans, like slapstick Monty Python type humor.
Oh, yeah.
He loves that stuff. Whenever he slaps whenever Scott slaps Steve, that's the best. We have to play loud now. Okay.
I love the long hair stuff. Every single fucking time.
Oh yeah,
mainly just because
in a cut, puts a hat on.
Man, Michael Cera fucking sold that every single time. He's like, yeah.
God. For me, it's the Seinfeld audio sting.
Yeah,
There's no reason for it to be there at all. There's no justifiable reason why it's there. It doesn't even fit in the movie. It's just there.
So good. And we're gonna have a second date tonight.
Oh god! He turns off the stove. It turns off the laugh track. God.
Gosh.
All right, Seth, what's your go-to?
The execution.
I feel like I grab a new one every time I watch it, to be honest.
Yeah.
What about this time
We're
around?
crashing
This
the
time
boys.
around?
Is that girl a boy? That one kills
Yes.
me every
Yes.
single time.
It's not a race,
you.
guys. All right, this one's for the guy in the balcony who keeps shouting. It's called "We Hate You, Please Die."
That whole
Thanks. I love this
Love
one.
that is so true to local band like chirping, where when bands don't get along, they roast each other from the audience when it's the other person's turn. I've been involved in this shit before. Like that was my like every single scene just reminds me of like, yeah, this is what it's like to be in like a local music scene. Just everyone's kind of an asshole. Everyone's fucking everyone. The men are figuring out they're bisexual. Like it's so on brand. People dating underage. That was like, oh my god, that is so local show. But yeah, I think, is that girl a boy?
Is that girl a boy too?
Yeah.
Yes. The answer is the
So
best.
good.
Yes.
What?
I do, man. I appreciate that they took out some of the like paranormal and supernatural stuff, because like the drummer for the Clash at Demon Head is an actual demon.
Oh yeah, isn't it like a robot demon? It has like a robot arm.
Yeah.
Yeah. That doesn't really fit anywhere. It's just kind of there.
No. I mean, you got to think the comic itself takes place over a year.
Yeah,
And
whereas
this-
in the movie, it's like,
like
a
a month?
week to
If
like
that.
no, it's a
If
month.
that.
Like it's a month.
So it's like they shorten, because like the first time he actually runs into Todd before he even fights Lucas, and they fight in a fucking mall.
That's right. Yeah.
And he gets his ass beat there, and then he's like dejected, and he's like, all right, fuck it, I guess I'll fight Lucas. And then he fights Lucas, and then he figures out who the fuck Todd is. And there's like all this subtlety around like trying to get Todd to be a piece of shit, and he kind of tricked it. Like the chicken parmesan thing is a call out to the comic.
Yeah, you see it.
Because that is what he's eating in the comic. So like the things he gets infractions for are actually things that they set up for him in the comic instead to kind of take away his powers after he gets his ass beat in that mall.
Vegan Police might be my second favorite.
Oh,
film.
God.
Fucking
Again,
Thomas Jane.
We're taking a 4-minute aside in this film to like kind of expand on the universe, but just leave you with more questions than anything. As Tom Jane and the guy from Boondock Saints 2 busted through the wall.
Clifton Collins Jr.
He's been in other stuff, Seth. What the hell?
That's what I know.
Remember
him
that
from.
other thing he was in?
Yeah, Scott Pilgrim
versus the World.
He was in Pacific Rim. He was in Crank 2. He's in a bunch of stuff.
I forgot he was in Crank too. That
He's
man
the
is
lead villain.
He's a chameleon.
He is very good.
Yeah. Don't they call him the ferret? I think they call him the ferret.
Yeah.
That sounds right.
He's in Pacific Rim, and I've watched that movie like 700,000 times.
Yeah.
Burn out that
So I
DVD
remember
too.
him now.
So I have a story.
Oh gosh.
So friend of mine that works in the film business, my friend Maya, this is her absolute most hated movie. She hates it with a passion. She hates Edgar Wright in general. Just doesn't like his movies.
I get that. I do get that.
It's a
movies for
very
movie
acquired
people.
taste.
Yeah.
But her reasoning for not liking this movie she says it inspires incel culture. To which I respond with the Tim Robinson bit from I Think You Should Leave, where he goes, "What the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, what the fuck are you talking about?
I don't get it. Like, name one instance when this
Are you
is
talking
inspired
about-
incel culture. Like, at any
sounds-
point.
I think it's very women
more-
empowering.
It is.
Can-
So, especially
Can
the
women
show.
be incels? Because if women can be incels, then absolutely, yeah, it's definitely inspiring incel cultures for women to be like, man, men are fucking terrible people.
Because of these men in this movie, I will be an incel because I would rather masturbate than fuck
Right?
them. But I am not.
I wonder if she's coming from the Fight Club thing where somebody could watch this and not get it and take the wrong thing away from Scott.
I mean, that's
You know what
that's
I
any
mean?
movie, though.
Like maybe she meant
Like
it
they're-
in that way because I've seen that before where people like Ulrich from Geeks with Shields, he also hates Scott Pilgrim, and it basically for the same reasons. He's like, all these people are terrible assholes, and I'm like, yeah, it's like Seinfeld. That's why they play the Seinfeld theme. It's like Sunny. We are supposed
They're not good
to,
people.
We're supposed to
good
hate these people, and then when they are able to like rise above themselves and be good people, then we can cheer for them at the end.
And honestly,
that's what you
think
want.
Think
It's
of
called a
any
character
of us-
arc.
Think of any of us at 22, 23 years old. We were all shitheads. I'll admit, I
We
was
all
a fucking
sucked.
shithead.
Shit at 22.
Like,
Dude,
it's
early
only been-
20s, those are still kids. Those are still
Yeah.
children.
Yeah.
That's what I'm
Still child.
saying. Everyone's a fucking shithead because they haven't grown up.
I'm
They're
gonna speak
just
to-
drunk as balls, and like they're drinking rail. They're drinking rail liquor and getting drunk as balls.
Yeah.
They're pieces of shit. Like, this is what it's supposed to be. It is.
Yeah. To anyone who hates Scott Pilgrim versus the World, you are completely missing the point. None of them are supposed to be likable,
Yes.
besides really Knives.
Knives,
She's
yeah.
the only real one that's supposed to be seen as the innocence of this group. Hence why she is the innocence of this entire
Dude.
group.
Her at Scott's funeral is just awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Instantly bought into Knives in the series at that point. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
this is perfect.
Can I also make note that I love the fact that they drew her like noodles from the Gorillas?
Yeah.
That's the
Yeah.
best. There's a lot of like music references throughout the
Yes.
entirety of the show. There's lots of game
sure.
references. The titles change based on the game they're referencing. Like they do Zelda, they do Metroid, they do Mega Man. Like that's
Final
cute.
Fight.
Final Fight. Yeah, the ending credits music of the last episode is Mortal Kombat, where they just
Nice.
list off the characters' names like
Mhm.
Scott
God, I want that
Pilgrim,
mashup.
Ramona
I
Flowers.
want that mashup so bad. I just want to have that
Dude.
play over. It's so good.
Yeah, that brings up one thing I want to point out. Netflix, please stop doing the after 10 seconds go to the next episode thing. Please stop doing that. I want to hear the fucking credits. Stop doing that.
Oh,
I have tried to turn it off and it doesn't stop.
Oh no, I disabled it.
I have tried. It doesn't want to do it. I don't know what it is. It doesn't want to stop doing it.
Okay, great.
Well, I also watch it on my phone because, like,
Oh,
when
I'm
at-
watching it on my TV.
Well, when I'm at
I watch it on
work,
my
I watch
laptop.
it on my phone, so I can disable it on my phone.
I had it on my laptop, so I just if I scrolled over, it kind of blacked out that box a little bit. I was like, "Oh, you want to watch this?" I'm like, "Yeah, fucking want to hear this music."
yeah,
fuck.
when I hear this music, it's really good.
So it lets me do the entirety every time, and I listen to the intro music too because that's a fucking bop.
Oh.
Like,
So
Oh, yeah.
good.
Yeah, you can't get more anime than that.
and that's why I love it.
I love the fact that this is just straight up anime. That's what makes me happy is that they took Brian O'Malley's style and they adapted directly for anime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not as solid animation as like other like high quality. It's not Attack on Titan.
Well,
Like,
there
Attack on Titan,
is-
that's like the peak,
Well,
and like
here's the
Miyazaki,
thing.
that's the peak. This is good enough though. This is good.
Here's the thing: this is an American animation. There is
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
there's a subclass of anime, and it's American animation, and it's there's a very small list, but it is there, such as the original Teen Titans
Scissor 7
show.
Yeah.
There's also Avatar: The Last Airbender, which is an American anime. There's
Yeah.
this. There's also
Avatar's
like
Canadian.
Code Lyoko. There's also
Canadian American is the same thing, eh?
No.
And then there's also like Hi Hi Puffy Amiyumi, which is also an American anime. There's
Symbiotic Titan.
Samurai Jack is an American anime.
Jack.
It's there's like a subgenre of this. So yeah, it's never gonna be anime, but it definitely is a beauty within the American anime class.
I think Clone High falls into that too a little bit.
A little bit.
It's got that like it's got that Western adapted like visual palette, but it's still that like anime
But,
presentation
see,
where
this is-
like there's like a meta reality that they can
As-
pop out emotionally into.
I will tell you this: this is for Fresco mainly, because I don't know how much like comedy anime he's ever watched.
He doesn't see. He
Not
hasn't
much.
seen
This
anything.
this
the
this
most
is
comedy
this
anime.
is
I've
apropos for
tried.
comedy
It's-
anime.
No, the most
Fresco, have you
comedy
seen
anime-
Baki?
God damn it.
The most he's seen.
My
is the
issue with
first
anime is
3
that I see
episodes.
episode.
You've seen the first.
Yeah.
I made him sit down and watch the first 3 episodes of Chainsaw Man. I made him
Yeah.
do that,
It's great.
and he hasn't gone.
I see episode counts. I just see episode counts, and I'm just like, nope. Why can't shows be 8 episodes? Just please, just cut it.
So
down to
anyway, so back to what I was saying about
Fucking
comedy
20
anime.
minutes. 5
watch
episodes,
One
eat
Piece,
ass, dude.
motherfucker.
Oh God, no, never.
All right, back to my goddamn point. Shut the fuck
Fine.
up, Fresco, you old goddamn grandpa. I can't watch more than 5 episodes at a time because
Oh,
my
but I
sciatica
want
will work
7
out.
hours
I don't
of shit,
care,
but I won't
Fresco.
watch 7
Take a
20-minute
break.
episodes.
How about this, Fresco, you fuck? Go watch 3 episodes, go work out for 2 hours, come back, watch 3 more. God damn it. Jesus Christ. Anyway, comedy
Cranky white
anime.
man.
The animation the animation style is looser, it's cheaper by nature because the evaluation of that is that it's not supposed to be as profitable as Attack on Titan or sorry, I threw up a little bit. Demon Slayer.
Oh, you just pissed off.
Fuck you,
Hey,
bitch.
hey, guess what? You ready for this? Demon Slayer is the new Dragon Ball Z. It's empty as fuck, but it's pretty as shit, and it gets people to watch it. That's all it's for.
No,
Sorry.
it's not actually. I've read the
It's empty.
entirety of the
Anyway,
manga.
This is
back
an
to what I was saying.
aggressive episode.
I've
back
read
to what-
the-
yeah, it is.
Bitch,
Back to
I
what I
will
was
fly
saying.
back to
Should I walk
Paris.
away?
Comedy anime is meant to be. There's a lot of fluidity in comedy anime. Like one of the big ones that I could see in this one is Cromartie High School, where there's a lot
That's
of
a throwback.
fluidity. Like that little robot, straight up is a Cromartie High School reference.
That's
it feels
that.
like.
That
Yeah.
Because there is just a
throwback, and I love
tiny
it.
robot throughout that fucking entire pointless fucking comedy anime that makes no fucking sense why this robot is there, but he's fucking always there. And so that's kind of the point of the animation. It's meant to be ridiculous. It's meant to be goofy. And
It's like
Really
comedies in
fucking
America.
works.
Like the lighting is kind of flat.
Yes.
The blocking is kind of basic. It's
Yes.
not meant to look like extremely great.
Mm-hmm.
It's just it's there. You're there for the script. That's it.
exactly. The point of that is to look ridiculous, to lean into the comedy. Unlike Demon Slayer, which is only meant to look pretty, to hide the fact that it's the shallowest fucking lake you've ever found in your fucking life.
I think there's also
Hope's gonna jump through this fucking screen and come over there and just kick you in the dick.
I'll
dude.
send you my address. Let's do this.
Apparently that's Mike's
You know
kink.
what?
He likes getting
You know
kicked
what?
in the dick.
You know what? I'm about to be on medical leave soon, motherfucker. I'll have the time.
My
have
medical
the
leave's gonna be
time.
me
Even
kicking
if
your
I'm
ass.
surgery, I'll still kick your fucking ass.
Mike's gonna just chime in on the Discord one day and be like, "She keeps kicking me in the dick. Why? Why is she keep kicking me in the dick?"
I'm gonna meet Hope for the first time. Who, by the way, I started this by not introducing Hope, and now I'm just shitting on one of Hope's favorite animes.
It's not even my favorite anime. but
I'm
it
Scott
is-
Pilgrim. Hope is the world.
this
I'm about to get
this
beat
is how
up.
Mike actively sabotages himself because I think this is also
Yeah.
one of Lexi's favorite animes too. So like you're 0 for 2, buddy.
Who's?
Lexi.
Oh, I know it's but Lexi's also newer to anime, so I forgive her. Hope, on the other hand,
I'm an old bitch. I'm an old hag when it comes to anime.
yeah, yeah, I know.
Well, and, okay, so don't you guys think there's also something to be said about like
It's
the
so
presentation
bad.
of anime? There's something to be said about the presentation of anime lending you to believe that you're meant to interpret it as a real world with like real world physics versus like a cartoon world that doesn't like maintain those physics. Or like I think about Full Metal Alchemist kind of combines the two. Its animation lends you into a like more real reality, but then still has the option to cartoonify to show emotion. And so that
Jesse?
I think
Jesse, watch Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, please, for the love of everything.
it's not gonna do it. It's fucking
It's-
52 episodes.
it's
Okay.
it's only
Won't do it.
62 episodes.
So good.
52. You won't do it.
They're
You won't do
20-minute
it.
episodes,
Look, he's
motherfucker.
already fucking not want to watch it.
So let's do the math on that.
Oh, Jesus Christ. See,
20-minute
this is what I'm talking about.
episodes.
Grandpa.
It's about-
Fucking Grandpa.
It's about 8 hours of content, I think.
It's really good.
So let's say 52 times 22.
You just busted
God,
through
he's
Follow
doing
the
it.
House of Usher in like a day
This-
and a half.
This fucking
That's-
guy he's binging the bear.
All right, so that's 1,114 minutes. What is that divided? Okay. Yeah, okay. Yeah, sure. I'll find the time. I'm off work right now.
You know he's
Watch it,
never going to
motherfucker.
watch another
No.
anime that he likes after Full Metal, right? Like, you
Oh,
guys are
yeah,
ruined.
dude.
Don't why? Like, if someone's okay, tip for everyone listening: if someone is like, "Hey, I've never watched anime," don't start them with fucking Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood or Attack on Titan, because then you're never gonna fucking get them to watch something and then go, "Wow, I like this again," because you're starting them at the fucking top. Fucking put them like, hey, you know what you should watch? Naruto. This is why Demon Slayer is so big, because it's a great start to fucking anime.
Hey, but I could have also
Don't
said
watch
Parasite
Demon
the
Slayer, though, Jesse.
Maxim,
You would-
or
you'd probably end up hating
Erased,
it.
or another. I could have.
God, Parasite's so good. But actually, that's a good segue to what I was going to say about realism. Parasite uses a lot of realistic approaches to the way its scenes are. Even the manga that I've started to collect is same way. It's just this. It's more wrong. You see a lot of that more depending on the demographic. So a lot of seinen will look very hyper realistic. A lot of shoujo will do that too, because they want the
Yes.
romance to
Anything
feel that
from,
way. But again, shoujo's
a
for
lot of
women,
things from
so they
Clamp.
want
Clamp
Yes,
is
Clamp will do that.
very,
yes,
like known for this, is being hyper realistic.
yes. That's Tsubasa, Reservoir Chronicles kind of stuff. Like that,
X99.
it's meant for you to, yes, you're meant to connect to it because their demographic, Clamp's demographic, is mainly women.
Well,
and
hence shoujo.
They want them. Yeah, shoujo is, for anyone who doesn't know, shoujo is the mirror of shonen. So shonen is meant for teen boys.
It means
Shoujo
young
is
men
meant for
and young women. That's what it breaks down to. Shonen and shoujo is
Yeah.
young men, young
That's it.
women. So
That-
like Shonen Jump,
Nothing
which
crazy.
is the weekly article that they bring out with
Mhm.
certain chapters. It's called Shonen Jump, and it means like young boys jumping into these manga. And it has
Yep.
like 6 or
And-
7 manga, but like one chapter per these
Yep.
weekly volumes. And
They have, and they have ones that run directly on Sundays called Shonen Sunday, and then of course they have, what the heck's that weird one? Is it Shonen Wednesday? And that's the monthly one,
yeah,
something like that.
because
Can't
there's
remember
certain
the
anime
monthly
that does
one.
it weekly,
But yeah,
some
they-
that does it monthly, and some that does it bi-weekly. I'm currently I have the app for Shonen Jump, so I just get it. It's either Sundays or Tuesdays that the new
Love that.
chapters come out, and I
Mhm.
just get each new chapter with my app, and I only pay like $2 a month for it, which is fucking amazing.
When we
Yes,
when
it's
we
the first
started to do this podcast, I didn't know that this was going to be the podcast where we were going to convert the Scott Pilgrim film viewers into anime people. Like that, we work as like the transitionary boundary, and we're like, going,
If
okay,
you
so if you
like
like Scott
this,
Pilgrim,
watch anime.
Hey, do you like Scott Pilgrim versus the World? You should watch Demon Slayer. It's a great entry into anime. It'll help you kind of understand very basic premises and show you just what good animation can look like. It has remarkably beautiful fight scenes, very, at best, characters. Some of them are memorable, some of them are not. welcome to anime. It's a great place to start. There you go. You've watched Scott Pilgrim. You might as well fucking watch anime. You are like as close to anime as you can get without fucking watching anime.
Yeah,
Just fucking watch anime. Stop putting your nose up in the air at
You're
it.
kicking your
Fucking
little
watch
toes
it.
in the pool of anime if you're checking out the TV show. You're definitely
Dip your toes into it.
Yeah.
put your little water wings on.
Demon Slayer is a great one to start with, especially nowadays. It's great to start with Demon Slayer. Don't fucking start with Attack on Titan, Full Metal Alchemist, or Chainsaw Man, or Berserk, or Vinland Saga, or Parasite the Maximum. Don't start with these fucking super dark ones. Start with something like Demon Slayer that has its dark moments, but it also has its comedy. It's a good blend of that shit, and it also looks pretty. There, is that better, Hope? I gave it some compliments.
Or you could go old school 90s like me and just love Yu Yu Hakusho.
I mean,
Mike's leaving.
if you're gonna start
Seth
somewhere,
knows.
like, dude, that's
Seth
the
knows.
that's the
That's my
Rosetta
favorite.
Stone for understanding anime. I feel like.
Hope, I just want you to know when you said that, I fell in love with you for just a little bit there. Because Yu Yu Hakusho is one of my favorite animes of all time.
Oh my god.
Yeah, you should watch that. Oh, never mind. Fresco will never watch that. It's actually good and long.
Good and
Fucking
long.
grandpa.
The Dark Tournament.
Anyway, back to
saga,
Scott Pilgrim.
Amazing. Dark Tournament.
That's
This
some
started
good
out as a
shit.
Scott Pilgrim episode, and we've transitioned into
Listen,
this.
it's their fault. They made an anime. They wanted us to do this.
They did
It's
make
true.
an anime.
The
I mean,
show-
it's
The movie
anime.
is a transitional live action anime, and then the show that they've released is an American anime. It is. It's they're not
Yeah.
hiding it at
Sets
all.
up a second season.
Oh, it does get it's
That-
getting a second season?
The end of it sets up a second season.
Yeah,
If
it
they
sets
get
up for
one.
a second season.
Okay,
Yep.
all right.
Yeah.
And I refuse to tell you what that second season could be, but you're gonna get to it and go, oh fuck, I need to see that.
Yeah.
It's
Okay.
great.
Damn. All right. Well, I guess I know what I'm doing this afternoon.
Yeah, you need to finish it. yeah.
After we talk
So-
about Poltergeist 3, we get that out of our system, then we can.
Man, Scott Pilgrim Takes Off will be a great way to clean off that one.
yeah.
Yeah. To get back to the show cleans up a lot of the issues that the
Yes.
film had that people keep calling it out for. It's like, oh, he shouldn't date a teenager. Well, no shit. We know.
Yeah.
Like, the point of the movie is that he's an asshole. Like, we know this.
Scumbag.
And that's why the show ejects him from the plot for 6 episodes. It's called Scott Pilgrim Takes Off. He's gone. He's not
took
in
off.
these 6 episodes of the show.
He took off.
Yeah, he's gone.
I
He
think
took
it's
off.
a perfect
But,
comedic animated Mike Flanagan show. Edgar
Nice.
Yeah.
Wright
Yep.
took
That is such
cue
a
and
great way to
just
put
went with
that.
it. So I think honestly, but without giving away too much more, we all loved the movie. Obviously, we sing its praises.
Yeah.
So far, even if some people have only seen 2 episodes, we all sing praises of the show.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
The first 2 episodes I've seen, I'm hooked.
Yeah. I mean, this is
Oh,
a
I thought of
big-
my other thing from the movie that makes me laugh.
Yeah.
The other thing. When Julie has the black bars come up over her mouth.
Oh yeah. The censoring.
How are you doing that with your mouth? Fuck whatever I'm doing with my mouth.
Mind how I'm doing it with my mouth.
I do love that they bring that.
And they do it again in the show. They do it again in the show.
She's like, I love you too.
That's so funny.
Oh god, yeah. Good show. Watch it.
So,
I binged it
I think it's a
in like a day.
too
You know.
high whatever's way up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's worth watching. You know?
We are Sex Bomb, and we're here to get you to watch Scott Pilgrim. 1, 2, 3, 4.
And then Threshold plays out of our outro.
Yeah. And for everybody that complains that like Scott Pilgrim is a dick and that's your one reason to not watch the movie, I think you missed the point.
Well, I was gonna say in the show,
He's a
he
22-year-old.
becomes a really good character.
Yeah, they round him
So-
out.
Yeah.
Dude, that's why it's a sequel.
great.
Because you got to see and it's one of those things that as you get older, you absolutely wish you could go back and change things about younger you. Like, there is
yeah.
running
That's really
commentary
resonant,
in this.
yeah.
and
Especially for the nostalgia.
even Ramona. Yep. And Ramona did the same. I mean, neither of them is good. And when their future Ramona is trying to sabotage future Scott from doing this shit too, that's the other part of this. It's fucking hilarious. And even she admits that, like, when she gets like it's too serious or it's too much, she runs away. And so it's admitting that you have a fear of intimacy, and he has a fear of anything challenging. Like, the first person that he ever actually fought for was Ramona. Like,
The whole thing
it's
was
supposed to show you
him fighting with himself, saying, "Why didn't you fight? Was I supposed to? Yeah, motherfucker, like you did the first time.
Oh, you never texted me.
Yeah.
You never texted me.
I got vibe.
I never got a message.
I got some vibes of Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. Some vibes of that.
Yeah.
Towards the end of the show.
It was a great show. I think.
Yeah.
Great movie, great show, great comic.
Yeah.
So, all right, this is how I want to end the episode. What
Yes.
should my Scott Pilgrim tattoo be?
Oh,
I-
it should be one of the characters, but from the video game. That design.
The one-up symbol of Scott's face.
Oh, that's
that'd
a
be
good
cool.
one too.
That'd
love
be
that one.
cool.
Yeah. What are you doing? Getting a life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get a
that-
life.
I think
Scott.
because of your musical history, you should get a tattoo of one or more of the instruments from it.
I do love Scott's Rickenbacker bass. So for
That's what
anybody
I'm
who
saying,
doesn't
so-
know music, that is actually Michael Cera's bass guitar. Like, that's his
Yeah.
for real.
He actually plays music.
Yeah. And Rickenbacker basses are like starting at $2,500. Like, that's a cheap one, and that's not a cheap one that Michael Cera has. He has like a like $15,000 bass guitar.
Hey, trivia. Another piece of trivia for you. Brandon Routh also plays bass, but he's way better and was actually in a band. So when they were filming that bass battle, that was actually them both playing together, just showing how.
Yeah.
There's no acting in that scene. Brandon Routh is a really good bassist, and Michael Cera was, at the time, he had just really started to get into playing the bass. He wasn't great at it. And so they just start playing something, and that is actually them playing, and it shows like that's actually how they were playing.
Damn.
Yeah. I just had the best thought.
Okay.
So you know who else is Canadian and a musician and really popular right now?
Don't you dare say, don't.
Keanu Reeves.
Oh my
Put him
God.
in
Who are you
season
gonna
2,
go see?
please.
They're gonna go see.
I'm seeing Dogstar next month at the Howard Theater in DC.
Nice.
The day before we do our end of the year episode, I'm going to see Dogstar in DC.
Hey guys, you know who sang a song that's about to probably win a Grammy? We should put him in season 2. He's also Canadian. Ryan Gosling.
Duh, okay.
That's what that
Just
sounds
all right.
Ken.
What?
That
Yeah.
kind of fits. That Ryan Gosling would easily fit into the Scott Pilgrim world.
Put every Canadian you can think of into the show. We talked about that when we did the Letterkenny movie pitch
Throw 'em
years
in there.
back. Put every Canadian you can think of, because Scott Pilgrim ultimately is a Canadian movie.
Yeah.
It shows off like, yes, this is a Toronto film.
Filmed
It
in Toronto.
takes advantage of its location.
Canadian film made by a British guy. Wild.
Made by a British guy.
I mean, they all love the Queen, so
Oh, God.
Starring a bunch of Americans. Dude, it's perfect.
Yeah. I will say that's my
Ow.
one negative, my one other like tiny little thing that just bugged me. Edgar Wright does not do a voice in the film, because they do a moment when they're shooting the movie version of Scott Pilgrim in the show, and the director is not Edgar Wright.
Oh.
Yeah, I wanted Edgar Wrong to be voiced by Edgar Wright as well. Yeah. I was like, could you? Because I saw him, I was like, is that supposed to be Edgar Wright? And then they showed his name. I was like, all right, so is he voiced by Edgar Wright? And
No.
it wasn't.
It's one
But-
of the actors from Kids in the Hall.
Yeah, but you know
Oh.
what? Just in case you didn't know, Brian Lee O'Malley is in the movie Scott Pilgrim versus the World.
Really?
Oh yeah, he is.
He's at the Rocket. He's at the bar.
He's at the Rock. He's at the bar with his wife.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. That makes sense.
He's kind of off to the side.
That's a great
Yep.
great little spot for a cameo too.
Yeah. And the second time Scott goes through the loop at the end of the movie, you see, who was it, Cuomo? He says, the comic book's better than the movie. You just hear it in the background. Like, oh, yeah, I get it.
Apparently, a lot of his lines were unscripted. He was just saying random shit for each cut. And if Edgar found, he's like, actually, you know what? I like that one. Stick with that one. So he was just saying different things each fucking cut, apparently. And the one that he like that one, the one that's like, the first album is much better than the first album, you know? And I was like, I've heard someone fucking say that to me before. The first time he said that, I fucking died. I was like, I actually had someone use that to describe something to me.
Bro, is there anything worse than a pretentious idiot? Oh my god.
Oh god. He's so fucking great.
Well, let's put the brakes on this Scott Pilgrim dick-sucking convention. I feel like every time we bring this movie up, that's all that can happen. But here we are. The video game's great. The comic's great. The movie's great. The show's great.
For everybody that hates the movie, watch the show. It fixes the problems. You'll probably enjoy it.
Watch the show. Maybe you'll understand because they kind of hand you it a little bit more obviously, telling you why it wasn't supposed to be good in the first goddamn place.
Yeah.
I love people who think that they're fucking too good for shit. I can always tell who was born with a silver spoon in their mouth because then they look at shit like Scott Pilgrim and they go, oh, this sucks. No, fucker. People go through goddamn journeys and sometimes you're a piece of shit for a little bit. Sometimes you're a fucking scumbag yourself. Shocker, right? Fuck anyone who hates this movie. Yeah, you do. Yeah, you hit a sore spot.
That's gonna do it for this episode, I think. Thanks everybody for being here. Thanks for checking out the show. I'm gonna catch up as ASAP as possible. I promise.
You'll burn through it real quick.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Guy.
All right,
Demon Slayer still sucks.
That's gonna do it for us. Thanks for watching.
I'll
Good
go
night.
Here, his dick.
Good night.
Bye.